Hello. Somebody saw this in the background of a video I just did and said, when am I going to get around to showing everybody the inside of the Dave Smith Prophet 12? And I thought, yeah, come on, let's do it. Before we look into this, let's have a look at the quality of the build. It's beautiful, nice walnut end panels. A great feeling keyboard. There's plenty of controls on this. I just love this new OLED display that, you know, you can sort of see everything you're doing, changing the waveforms and what have you. Very nice. These buttons, nice and clicky. Don't feel cheap at all. 4 banks of 99 for the user, 4 banks of 99 for the factory presets, which you can't change. And starting from the beginning, the oscillators are digital, which is great because you can do a lot more with them than analog. But they're on, everything's analog, all the way through to the output. A quick look at the back. It's all steel construction, sustain pedals, etc. USBs, MIDI in, out and through. 2 sets of outputs left and right, and your headphones. The outputs A and outputs B correspond to A and B on here. So if you split, you can send them off to different outputs. Anyway, let's get the screwdrivers out. The Prophet has 12 voices. The signals begin in the digital domain. Every voice can have 4 of them, plus a sub-oscillator an octave below. That's 60 oscillators. 4 LFOs per voice can also be piled on, so essentially that's 48 more oscillators, making 108. But you can find all that technical stuff on the website. We're here to take it apart. Right, I don't know where to start with this, because obviously I've not had this thing apart. Still got the sticky on the screen. But we'll have a look around the screws and things. I noticed on the back there's a hinge that runs all the way along, so obviously this whole front flips up. Do I need to undo these sides? I'm not sure. I'll undo the sides. Oiled walnut. Right, this reveals more screws. Now, through the magic of video, we've taken the other side off. And there's 2 screws in the bottom that will help you release the whole thing. Are you ready? Let's have a look inside. And it does nicely hinge up. Oh, look at that. So it holds it all into place. Well, we can see here why he's made a desktop version. It's already small enough to be a desktop version. The construction of this thing is very sturdy. I particularly like this to stop the panel falling backwards. We'll have a look behind those in a moment. There is all just going to be switch gear, and your OLED display will be there. And this is the main board. This is obviously what Dave Smith is using in his new desktop versions of the Prophet 12. The only difference with the desktop one is obviously there's no keyboard and there's only 12 knobs and 34 buttons on it, but it's still a Prophet 12. Now then, looking into the actual circuit here, there's lots of these analog devices. Those analog devices are ADSP21479 Shark processors. They've got 16 pulse width modulation channels and God knows what in there, all very nice. But I did notice up here there's a microchip pick. I don't know if I can get the light right there. a microchip pick. Perfect. That's a 32 MX695F, and there's an 8 meg crystal for it. These are the MIDI out. That will be the opto isolator for the MIDI input, and all your jacks, etc. It's very nicely made. Okay, moving on. Right, I've taken the screws off the power supply. There we go. Just looks like a standard switch mode power supply. This will be 110 to 250 volts, 50, 60 hertz, whatever, so you'll be able to use it anywhere in the world. IEC connector there. Nice big proper glass fuse on there. All the capacitors have got the elastic to stop them vibrating, resonating, humming or whatever. Not really a lot to look at inside there, but it's all nice, it's all neatly done, it's, you know, quality. Nice big heatsink. Okay, thank you very much for that. I don't know what voltages is coming out of this. We've only got 3 blacks and 3 reds. I just had to point this out. There's a little picture of Dave Smith on his circuit board there inside the Prophet 12. Brilliant. Anyway, as you can see, these are obviously your 12 voices. I don't know what those chips do. I haven't got a clue. I'll have a look at the numbers. But it says DSI 120. Dave Smith Instruments 12.0. Prophet 12.0. I don't know. But that's been laser etched with his own number on there. It's a pretty standard keybed. It's used in most synthesizers these days. So just give it a little bend there. Takes the keys off. The keys have weights in the bottom of them to give them a sort of a semi-weighted feel. And it pushes on these 2 rubbers. One goes down a little bit quicker than the other, or somehow it measures the time when this connector touches the board, and that's how it knows how quickly or slowly you've pressed, or hard or soft that you've pressed the actual key. This ribbon runs all the way underneath all the keys, and this is your aftertouch. So once you've pressed down, you can add a little bit of aftertouch there because it applies pressure to this ribbon. Okay, let's take this modern pitch bend wheel off. I want to see how these little LEDs light it up. There's your modern pitch bend, and these little surface mount LEDs, red, that shine on the inside of the wheel and just give it that nice aesthetic look. Very nice. So now the pitch bend and modulation wheel is back in. Just another quick look along the board. Little warnings, do not unscrew these. That's obviously the other side of the OLED display. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get down into these boards for you because I've found that these buttons are so tightly put on, and I would have to remove all of these just to be able to look on the other side of the board, when actually there's probably nothing of any interest there anyway. This is all just switch gear, you know, coding. It runs back down to the processor here, and that'll be about all that goes on in there. So there's the Prophet 12. Now I'll put it together and see if it still works. and it still works. Oh well, what shall I do next? Keep watching, who knows. Thanks, bye.